On tonight's episode, we talk about the Crisis on Infinite Earths.
And all the pop culture news.
So we just watched a great new animation from DC. DC knocks it out of the park with their animations. This one is an adaptation of the Wolfman Perez epic Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Yes, it's officially called Justice League Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 1. Because a story of this magnitude, even though I have some issues with the first part, but a story of this magnitude deserves more than 2-hour movie, so they're gonna make 3.
Oh!
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize it was a trilogy.
Yeah.
How delightful.
Yeah. It was like something people always wanted it, and they kind of at the same time it's kind of hard to mess up, but when you want to mess up, or if you on the path to mess up, nothing is too hard. But at the same way that it's tough to mess up such a great story, it feels like, if this transition, DC moving to James Gunn, it felt like the I might be wrong. They might be planning this for, I don't know, 5, 6, 10 years, and it's finally coming to light. But it felt like when they announced, it felt like it was like, here's James Gunn, and people, James Gunn. But here's Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Yeah.
But as an animation, so it feels like it felt like they would like give us something to hold on to it, which multiverse connectivity, continuity, the cross media, the cross universe of things they could, like they did a little bit on the Flash, like they did on across the Spider-Verse. They could use that to reset. As you know,
Which
the
is
book.
kind of the point of the book, right?
Yes, yeah.
Things were getting a little out of control.
If you don't know the book, everything there was Infinite Earths, and the way it was DC had Batman, had Superman, it had some main heroes, household names, powerhouses, and they were like, they're gonna buy Fawcett Comics. Fawcett Comics is the publishing company that published and owned characters from the Marvel family, meaning Captain Marvel, the original Captain Marvel, Billy Batson, Mary Marvel, and Tony the Tiger, and all those, Shazam.
But not that Tony the Tiger.
He is a tiger. His name is Tony. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but he's I just feel like the Marvel family has a bit of a branding issue.
And well,
that's all.
They branded first, so all that was Fawcett Comics, the stories in Fawcett City, and DC acquired the company, so they bought them. And so what are you gonna do with these characters? They have this whole timeline of history. They have this whole continuity, this whole material. They never met Superman, so how are you gonna do it? Boom, they lived on a different Earth. Clever way to separate things. And from time to time, characters from one Earth would visit another, and vice versa, for having adventures together.
We had like a really mini version of this with the Arrowverse.
Yes.
On CW, if you haven't gotten into the books.
Yeah. So they separate all their characters as they were acquired in different Earths, and at the same time they could play like they have the regular continuity for Superman and for Batman, but then there's a moment that we want to see Superman when he was young, and again and again and again. Instead of flashback, they would create an Earth where Superman is too young, or Superman never met Lois, or Superman married Lana Lang, and stuff like that. So different universes, different Earths where I had different stories, but it created sort of a mess. Also, they want to discontinue and change some of the stories and the origins. There was some stuff that they you have to create a standard when you write something. And we were talking about Tolkien, on how he was very completist about everything he did. He went miles to create a language, write an actual language with grammar, with syntax, for the races he explored in his books, in his works. But anyways, so in comic books, it had to be a standard, and we see a lot of the standard being destroyed these days by changing the past of a character that has like 70, 80 years, changing race, changing gender, sexual preference, and all that to pander for certain audiences. That not even the majority, but back to Crisis. So they decided to standardize things. So they decided to put all in one Earth. Of course, some heroes would be in the past, some heroes would be in the present, and some heroes would be in the future, as Legion of the Superheroes, for instance. So for that, they hired, they put in charge some of the biggest names in comic book creation, Marv Wolfman and George Perez, and they came up with an incredible story. Tragic, sad, and
it's so intense.
Yeah.
And the omnibus, which I highly recommend, it's a great read. But like, no kidding, it's like this thick.
Yeah.
It's big.
And that's what she said. But incredible story. Reference for everything that came after. You know, amazing. Anyways, so. Resuming the story, long story short, they destroy all the Earths, and there's one where the survivors remain. But it sounds simple, but it was big story, tragic, very important for comic books history, and that's what they're trying to adapt. It affected, for instance, after everything was reset, everything was back to one Earth. They hired some other great names to retell the origins of the comic book heroes. I think John Kirby wrote Superman, New Origins, which is the origins everybody knows, Krypton and the lesson of Krypton and all that. George Perez, I think he did Wonder Woman, and I mean among many others. So they reorganized the standardize the comic book universe and literature after that, and they did a terrific job. I thought it was important. It was very very well done. And Crisis itself, as a story, its reference is really good.
I have to say, you can jump in and read it without having like a deep knowledge of the comic book world. It's so thorough and so big. It's going to expose you to like anything and everything. Like, you can just like jump right in and read it, and it's well worth the time. So plus you get a workout from carrying around this like 5-pound omnibus.
So anyway. DC Warner decided to make that into an animation in 3 parts. So we saw the first part, and as a character that is very important in the books, he's very important on the show. And is Barry Allen, the Flash, very, very, very important. He's
a big deal.
Yeah, and is at the end, he is like, some of the things that they did, everything they did, they killed the Flash, and they killed Supergirl, and I was like, people was like, what the? And to this day, it's like these guys are good, and they really killed the Flash to a point that. His nephew took over him years later. Barry stayed dead for decades.
Yeah, it was like 20 to 30 years.
Yeah, no, it was like really done. So it was not like dead on the episode of this week, and the next week he comes back, like, you know.
Yeah, like, well, who was it? Harrison Wells. Yeah, who love the character, love the actor. One of my favorite parts of the Flash series. But it got to the point where, like, they'd be like, "Oh, we're gonna miss you so much."
It's like, come on, guys, yeah.
You're
kidding.
Give it an episode, maybe 2.
Anyways, so the Flash is very important for this show, and we see there's a lot of time jumps, which is interesting. It gives you some background, and there's some sort of incomprehensive. There at the end, you understand what's going on, which is very interesting. Not always want everything. They give you enough to entertain you, to tell the story. And at the end, if there's anything you didn't understand, they might give you some more, and then you fill the gaps. That's a good way to do. It was good.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
It ended on a cliffhanger plot twist moment. We can wait to see part 2. And if you didn't read the books yet, you should check it and read, and then you can compare. Of course, it's I feel like every adaptation of big comic book sagas, especially of this magnitude, they fail on scope, on size, because even with animation, unless you have like 16 Seth MacFarlanes that do 16 voices each, you're not gonna have all the characters you can have on a panel or on a page. Yeah. Anyways, what do you want to say?
I thought it was great. It's been a long time since I read it, so I'm not gonna make any like super bold statements about the whole like quality of the adaptation. But even apart from the comic book, it was a really good movie to watch. I love how they focused on Barry and told us the story kind of through his experience. It kind of made this like huge story fit into a film, and I'm really glad that there are 2 more.
Yeah, the love story part. I'm not gonna spoil. I'm not gonna say who. You know, it's a new take. It's a new addition to it, because he had a love in the books, but in this one it seems to take a little bit more focus on that. From beginning to end.
But for me, it gave us like some emotional investment. It took it into something more personal than just like, we are superheroes who will fight the existential crisis. Like, I don't know. I thought it gave it some depth. I thought it was a good thing. It was good storytelling.
Anyways, Justice League Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 1 is available everywhere, on physical media, on digital, on several platforms. You can buy, you can rent. It's definitely one to watch.
Yes. Okay, another one we watched this week was kind of a bizarre one from Jake Johnson and Lonely Island called Self-Reliance.
And who?
Wasn't it Lonely Island?
Oh, yes.
Or who produced it, yeah.
But we have one Andy Samberg there playing Andy Samberg. Yeah, this one directed and written by Jake Johnson.
Not to be confused with Jack Johnson.
With, who's the girl?
Anna Kendrick.
Kendrick.
So when I saw Lonely Island in the opening credits, I was like, aha, goofy comedy. No. Like, it was comedic.
Yes.
But I'm not sure I would describe it as, like, lighthearted.
No, lighthearted, not.
No.
Yeah.
Even goofy.
It's weird type of comedy. It has funny moments. It definitely has a lot more funny than tragic. And it's an interesting story, and I can imagine it's some sort of critique about television, reality show, and the things we consume.
Sure.
I mean, not us, the people in, what was it? Australia? Canada?
Yeah, I can't remember.
It was what was it? Dutch? Now everything is Dutch.
Yeah. Well, shoot.
Anyways.
That sounds right. Somewhere in Europe. Anyway, yeah. So, like, the basic premise
Australia's not in Europe.
No, it's not.
I said Australia. Said somewhere
I know you
in Europe.
did, but I think it was somewhere in Europe.
Even though there's a country in Europe that speak Australian like the Australians.
Sure, babes. Anyways. Yeah, so, like, the basic premise is there's this, like, almost like Squid Game style, like, dark web reality show where a bunch of people are going to hunt a contestant, and if the contestant survives for 30 days, the contestant wins a whole bunch of money.
Yeah, and it's very, very, very. If you're looking for a comedy, there is a heavy, like gonna laugh from beginning to end. You're not gonna find that, but it makes you think. It's interesting, and you know Jake Johnson it could be like super funny because the guy's funny. I guess as a writer he chose a different route, and it was fun.
Yeah, it was fine. I'm not like rushing to see it. I don't know if I'm gonna like super recommend it to anybody, but if you come across it, it's worthwhile.
Yeah.
Thought provoking. Yeah.
It's on
fine.
Hulu Plus.
Mm-hmm.
Hulu Plus. That's not Hulu Plus. It's on Hulu. They're all Plus.
They're all called Plus though. Yeah.
It's on
whatever.
Hulu. It's
Yeah.
a Hulu original.
Mm-hmm.
Self-Reliance. No, it's killing me. What the show is
Yeah.
from? What was the show called? There was a name.
I honestly can't remember. I might have been very tired.
Oh, maybe
when
it
we
was
watched
Self-Reliance. Game show. Jeez. Maybe there's
this.
another.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna
Other
say
synopsis. His Sphinx. He's found the perfect loophole. No. Okay. Yeah. It's. And you're gonna see here. It's like based on a Dutch show. No. Yeah. Yeah. Well, whatever. It's interesting. Either way, it goes back to the Danish. There you go. It's a Danish show.
Yeah, it is Danish. Okay.
Which is another similarity with reality. A lot of the shows we consume come from this pseudo globalized world. Mass Singer is a hit in Korea, South Korea.
I say Korea.
Yeah, and then became huge. We have Traders that
From
they are renewed for another
the
third
Netherlands.
season. We had in the floor. We just watched the floor from Low.
Which is super fun. Our kids are really invested in it.
Yeah, and that comes from Danish land.
The Netherlands.
Yes, that's what I said. People in the Netherlands call it Danish land.
Nope. That's Denmark. Sorry, babes.
Anyways, Self-Reliance is available on Hulu. It's a Hulu original, and you should check it. It's not bad. It has some good talented people, some funny moments, and it might be your taste, it might be not. Yeah, make a choice. Live or die.
Okay, we saw another one that was really good. This is a documentary called Sly.
Yeah, I'm trying to pick some documentaries every now and then. There's some very interesting documentaries, and so far I pick documentaries about people because we watch movies with some people, so it's a way to get a little bit of film history and some of what makes those people tick and how was the history of what they made. And this one is about Sylvester Stallone, also known as Sly. And it's very interesting. They picked a moment in his life that he's moving. He lived in California for such a long time, and now he's moving to the East Coast.
He lives in Florida.
Florida, yeah.
Was it? Yeah.
A humble mansion by the sea.
Sly is many things, but there is nothing humble about that man's image or his home.
Yeah, but he's very talented, and not a lot of people might know. But he's more than the tough guy. He's more than the thug. He writes and directs. He wrote and directed Rocky that won an Oscar. No, he didn't direct. He wanted to direct, but the studio said absolutely not. The studios didn't want him to act. Yeah, but he forced his hand and he got in. And he has some very, very dramatic roles in other movies as well. But he's always remembered by the tough guy that he is. And it was very interesting to go through his life, into the history of his success and his dramas. And it's always interesting when like sometimes there's like one line he opens his mouth to say something, and you realize that guy is charming and funny on movies, on the interviews you see on the talk shows, but you see that person has more. The person read books. The person saw movies. The person knows art, and you know one thing you see. And you understand that the person's a lot more, but once he found his niche, his market, he worked for it, because that's it's what brings people joy, brings him joy, and it's his life to provide for his family, and for the people that work in the movie to provide for their families too. But anyway, it's really good on Netflix original, or whatever they call.
Yeah, it was very insightful too. And while I was watching it, I was thinking about how, like, the first time I watched Rocky, I was a teenager, living at home with my parents. We all watched it together for our family movie night. I was like, oh man, that was a really fun boxing movie. And then later, I married this guy, huge fan, and we watched it again. And I got to
you're
see
a fan? I should give her an autograph. Yeah. Okay.
And we watched it. Anyway, watching it with him,
she watched all of them.
All of them, but especially that first one. With it, he helped me see, like, this whole other perspective that it's not actually a boxing movie. There's so much more to it, and so that's kind of what this documentary is about. Like, yeah, Sly's an action star, and he does, like, the big tough guy, and there was that accident when he was born that led to, like, paralyzed nerves in his face that gives him kind of that snarl and everything, but it helps you understand there's so much more going on underneath the surface, which is why so many of his movies are so good and so compelling. And some of them are just goofy and fun. But, like, why, especially for me anyway, Rocky and even a couple of the Rambo movies, there's so much, like, depth and emotion and heart to them.
And then it was interesting watching the documentary to see some of the things we know as general knowledge, but to see how the story of Rocky and even Rambo, it mixes, it tangles with Sly personal story. The whole underdog coming from nothing and going to the highs of celebrity, fandom, money,
and then all the pitfalls that come with that.
That happened to Rocky, happened to Sly, and how eventually he managed. He's successful. It doesn't sound like he's gonna stop anytime soon. Maybe we don't want that. It's good. If you're a fan, you're definitely gonna like it. We recommend. Sly. It's some like talking about the little things of knowing a person. You see Stallone, like, strong and, like, shooting a big machine gun with one hand, two machine guns two machines and one on each arm, no shirt, sweating, or beating the crap out of the opponent on Rocky, or being beat the crap out of by Drago or something like that.
Which to me is, like, the best part of Rocky. Like, yeah, he's tough and he's strong and he wins sometimes, but for me the best parts about Rocky Balboa is when he gets it taken out of him, right? He's on the floor, he's bleeding, he's, like, about to lose, and then he gets up. That's what makes Rocky special. Anyway,
and on that, before I go back to my point, on how he actually gave his body to the crash.
Oh, yeah.
He got hurt so many times.
This guy is wrecked.
Yes.
Yeah. He's like the first Expendables movie just about ended his career, if not him.
Anyways, so you have all that, but you see, like, in the documentary, you see details of his life. It's like, wow. He's that kind of guy.
Yeah.
So, and one of the things that we noticed was he had recordings, like audio journals from all the stuff he went through. And I was like, wow, he's the kind of guy that writes a journal. He's the kind of guy that thinks about things and put on paper or put on tape. It is not only what we see on the movie, which he does, and he does really well. So it's a very nice way to get to know a little bit more of these people that we see everywhere all the time on TV and in the movies.
Yeah, and to understand, like, what really goes into making, like, good entertainment. It was good. Oh, another fun thing is Schwarzenegger shows up a few times. Yeah. With some talking heads talking about, because their careers kind of paralleled. Yeah. Anyway.
To the point that they became partners. They opened a restaurant that is very famous these days. I don't know if they still own, but Planet Hollywood.
That's right.
Yeah, it's Sly, Schwartz, and Bruce Willis. There's that. So, Sly is available on Netflix. You should check if you're a fan, and if you're not, it's fun. It's good stuff.
Okay. Argyle did pretty okay at the box office. Had an $18 million opening.
Yeah.
Which feels pretty good for maybe? I never know what to do with those numbers.
It was not. The movie was it might improve and pay off, but it was actually 20. I think 26. I think was a little bit more. I think that number. I have to update that number, but. Yeah, the box office these days are on a slump, and there was hope that this would do better, but it didn't. But it's a good movie. It might get more, especially because the competition is not. There's not a lot there.
Yeah.
To compete with. There's a Madame Web coming next week.
Oh.
And at the end of the month, there's a small movie named Dune. That one might pump the. And again, the economy is still terrible. Contrary to what the White House tell you, is really bad, and you're gonna go through some of that too.
Yeah.
So people are making choices with you're gonna watch.
Exactly. I suspect that between recovering from holidays and then with June coming up, I suspect that people who pick and choose what movies they're gonna see are waiting for June. So my prediction is June's gonna be just fine.
Yeah. Dune is coming. Dune is coming back to the movies. This week, this next week, and the weeks following the sequel. There's the part 2. There's the original. The part 1 is coming back, and also in some theaters they're showing the original Dune movie with Sting, Patrick Stewart, and all that jazz.
Yeah, all that jazz is right. It's an interesting one. Okay, Curb Your Enthusiasm Season 12 premiered with 1 million viewers, which is up 26% from
the previous season.
Mm-hmm.
It was funny. It's Larry being Larry. We already see some of it's like, I guess they're gonna go this route. I guess you already can tell.
Yes, the seeds are planted that will be harvested in the finale.
And Larry was causing commotion and controversy. He was on TV. And he went to beat the crap out of Elmo.
Beat up Elmo?
Yeah.
Come on, man.
And I just saw some people still like, come on, that's Larry David. But some people taking that really, really to the heart, like really hard. Like Will Wheaton was like, how could him? How dare him? Elmo is important for so many kids. And come on, Will Wheaton, grow up. Anyways, it's that's Larry.
It's beating up anybody's not a great move, but again, what do you expect from Larry David?
Anyways.
Okay, now we get to the part of the show where we talk about Disney and everything that's going wrong, but maybe a couple things going right.
Are you gonna sing like princesses?
Yes.
That's not even Disney, right? That was a.
I know. I think you're channeling
Enchanted, right? La 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 la.
Oh, that is Disney.
Is it Disney?
Yeah.
Disney Studios?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
In fact, there's a ton of Disney cameos.
Obscure.
Not that obscure. Jodie Benson was.
She recognized.
Yeah.
Everybody else.
Okay, maybe a ton is a strong word. The Chin dancers in the park. It's definitely Disney.
Yeah, I mean there's definitely references. Yes. Anyways. Disney.
Anyways, Snow White is. What's happening with their reshoots?
Is going to major reshoots. I'm not sure if you talked about it, but it's because the whole controversy. They tainted the whole fairy tale of Snow White, as in so many aspects. I'm not gonna go through that. We talked about that before. But because of that, they're gonna go through reshoots. Like the dwarfs will not be will not be hobos from San Francisco anymore. They're gonna be CGI dwarfs. They're gonna look like dwarfs.
And it looks like they're gonna look like the dwarves from the cartoon, which I feel like is that really better? I don't know.
But it caused this whole mess. First was one of the fellow dwarfs didn't help.
Peter Dinklage got quite upset in a well-publicized rant.
Yeah, and it's kind of. For him, it's easy. He has jobs. He has awards. He can get jobs which
he had to work really hard for. And
True.
He made a conscious choice that he wasn't going to take those kind of roles.
He had to be the funny elf, which he was. He had to be the funny little guys.
Yeah.
He was the bottom of the joke on Elf. Right, but that was part of his process, his saga, his journey to go to the top. Now he's denying people from the bottom to go through that, even though it might not be the ideal. Now they don't have a way in, which is I didn't think was cool. But
Yeah,
there was
wasn't my
that,
favorite moment.
and then there was pictures of weird looking dwarfs. They were not even
Yeah, there weren't
size
dwarves. It was just
proper.
more like a motley crew, which
Yeah.
I don't think it was the end of the world, but
I don't know.
But
if anything, they should look
yeah.
strong because they're minors, and they have there's
not
like
minors.
skinny.
They're minors.
What did I say?
You said minors.
There's
There's this great line. I'm referencing a line in Galaxy Quest.
Oh yeah.
Where someone's like, they're minors, not minors.
Oh, okay.
You know, like minors under 18.
It's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but that's the thing. They're the ones in the previous pictures. They were minors instead of minors.
Yeah, which I feel like you could definitely go that direction, but because this is like a Disney reboot and other things that we're saying, you knew they weren't going to take it and like, oh, what a creative take. It was going to be more like, oh, this is tokenist pandering.
Do a creative take for, I don't know, for a CW show or for an ABC show, like Once Upon a Time did.
Yeah.
Go creative for that. When you're going to invest millions of dollars to adapt.
To adapt like
beloved.
The quintessential Disney movie, the one that started all of it, the first feature-length animation.
Disney himself was behind it.
Yeah.
So it's like it's canonically, it's anti-canonic, anti-biblical-ish to go against what was created in such. Anyways, so there's that, and there was the comments from the actress. And they're gonna all that together. They're gonna reshoot also the Snow White parts. Apparently, there's gonna be a lot more Snow White when she was a kid. A little girl is gonna play her. To have less Rachel Ziegler to make more about the fairy princess instead of the feisty independent woman that she was preaching and was causing all problems. And we'll see how it goes. But at this point, the movie seems, on a terrible path. Maybe they'll fix it, but I don't know if they will be able to recover the love and respect and that from the fans.
Yeah, this was it could have been great, but I'm not super surprised. I'll still watch it. I'm curious, but yeah, we'll see. That's not the only film getting aggressively reshot. Captain America: Brave New World is having like characters and plot points and all kinds of things scrapped, and so they've had to do a lot of reshoots.
Yeah, apparently the original movie was like, nope, gonna basically redo it. They redid it, and from the redoing it, it's like, oh, we're gonna have to redo more. It's a tragedy, and there was the whole plot about the Serpent Society. There's like, nope, we're gonna take this out. No, there were cameos of Captain Marvel and She-Hulk. That also gonna like, no, we don't want to get involved with these people.
Yeah.
So
bad. There were probably a lot of people who thought like, oh my gosh, I'm in a Marvel movie, and it's all getting scrapped now, and my heart goes out to you.
Yeah,
that has got to suck.
It's a risk you take as an actor, right? You pick the role, and that might change your career. I mean, considering that you're already on the stage that you can pick a role, not that you audition for everything. If you audition for everything, you have to, and that's
what I'm saying. I suspect there's a bunch of people in these scenes who auditioned and maybe got a moment, even if it was just like walking behind Captain, I don't know, who got a moment and like maybe like this is finally. Maybe I'm finally getting somewhere with my career. Maybe I can have an apartment with 5 roommates instead of 7, and then it all gets cut. Like those are the people that I'm like, oh.
Yeah, but yeah.
Sorry, guys. That sucks.
I hope they can find a road they're still gonna walk behind, especially because I don't think they even shoot in the US anymore. They try to shoot, but anyways. So yeah, they're going to major change, major reshoots. And who knows? Maybe you're not even gonna see that movie, but maybe we will.
Yeah.
So Blade is going through the same process, but yeah.
Okay, Bryan Cranston. What's he got to do with the MCU?
Oh, nothing. Oh, this is on me. I use AI to create Kang the Conqueror. You saw him on Quantumania on Loki. So I picked him to replace Jonathan Majors that has problems with the law, and was fired. So it's gonna be recast or not. It's not clear what they're gonna do. They're not gonna use him, but it's not clear if they're gonna use a character or if they're gonna move to a different character. But if they would use the character, I cast Bryan Cranston, and I used AI to create art of him as King, and it didn't look bad.
No, it's not bad at all. It's actually pretty cool.
It looked quite good. So if Marvel does it, it's my idea.
Yeah.
One might ask, oh, but King is black. King is not black. In the MCU, they pick a black actor, but in the comic books, he was mostly not black. I mean, mostly because,
Just like the blue version.
there's like variants.
Yeah.
It's yeah. Anyways, so there's that. You
Okay.
should check. The art is available on our Facebook and our Instagram. Yeah.
On the set, tragedy struck the set of the Wonder Man series.
Yeah.
Crew member actually died.
Yeah. The crew member died on set. I think he fell from a scaffolder. Is that what it's called?
Scaffolding.
Yeah.
Oof.
And yeah, he died.
That's horrible. Okay, well, condolences for him and his family, or her and her family. Gina Carano is not done with Disney
Yeah.
or Lucasfilm.
She's after a couple of years, she finally sued Disney for wrongful termination, and she has on her back Elon Musk,
Yeah.
and they're going for it.
So apparently this is part. He has like a whole initiative to kind of back up people who face discrimination for activity on Twitter when it was still Twitter, and he's kind of, he's really taking this whole like
Champion of freedom.
free speech on what is now X. He's taking this really seriously.
Yeah,
Interesting.
which is good.
Yeah.
It's so sad that a person that does that is the exception these days, and he's either seen as a hero or as a crazy person from doing that, when it should be the normal,
Yeah.
someone fighting for freedom of speech or for freedom of any kind shouldn't be like, wow, or it should be,
Yeah.
Anyways, you skip one here.
Did I?
Josh
yeah.
Brolin. There's rumors that Marvel is there's a mess. There's desperation there. That Marvel might bring back Thanos.
No.
Not the way they
Done.
ended. Not the way they ended. If it was in the books, there's ways, because it's like decades of content. But the way they did, they finished him. To bring him, it would like undo Tony Stark's sacrifice.
Right? Tony died, and our hearts got ripped out.
But they
in the
can bring
theater.
Tony back too.
Oh my gosh. Or we could say that story has been told,
Yeah.
and we spent like well over a decade invested in that story, building up to Endgame. And now we need to move on. And maybe Marvel should just like take a chill pill. Not Marvel. The MCU needs to like take a chill pill, take a beat, maybe stop cranking stuff out for a minute, regroup, and make something worth seeing. That would be nice.
Yeah, but there's a video I posted, and there's a circulating on the internet. Someone cut clips of the writers of all the shows that failing on the Disney Plus, the Marvel shows, and they said, nope, I never read a comic book in my life. And some other one says, I was told not to read any book. And there's even Taika Waititi joking, one giving an interview about Ragnarok, a press junket for Ragnarok, and Jeff Goldblum is with him. It's like, have you read the books? I was like, no, I never read any books. Actually, after the DVD for the movie is released, I'm gonna buy a Thor book and gonna read to see how much I screwed up. So that's how they treat the properties, the characters.
That explains a lot.
Anyways.
Explains an awful lot. All right, Pirates of the Caribbean. I guess there's a new one coming, and they're eyeing Edebiri.
There's rumors that the star of the Bear, award-winning actress, might be one of the leads. In the past, there was rumors that Margot Robbie would be too, but again, rumors. Some come to reality, some not.
I would not be mad about that though. If this one came out, like materialized, that'd be cool. We finally have our Reed Richards for the Fantastic Four reboot.
Pedro Pascal.
Which
I mean,
He's probably gonna do just fine.
Considering that there's rumors that the movie, Sue Rich is gonna be the lead. He's gonna be secondary. He's gonna be like MCU, like some say. He's gonna put on, on the side of this face is like the face of the woman, and it's like whatever. He seems like he's willing to go against. He's willing to do what he can. I guess it's his job. He gets money for it. So
I can't be mad at Pedro Pascal. Hey, do you want to be in a superhero movie?
Because what happened to Last of Us? Let me put it this way: if Last of Us, if they would offer to Henry Cavill, Henry Cavill would not accept some of the crap they changed on it, as he doesn't on anything. As he doesn't on anything.
Oh! Did you see the bit about him talking about the Highlander reboot that he's doing? Like, he's so excited. He said he grew up watching it with the series and the movies, and he loved it so much. But what he really loves was the lore. And so apparently, this reboot is going to get more into the lore behind the Highlanders. Basically, it's just a really aggressive Henry Cavill geek out, and I am so happy. It's going to be fantastic.
So, but good luck to Pedro Pascal. I love deeply the Fantastic Four, and I'm afraid. So we'll see.
Yeah, I'm sorry, babe. Although I do think if Pedro Pascal, I think he was a great Joel. If they'd actually written a script that was Joel, like in the game, I think he would have done great.
Yeah.
I think he can do fine here. I'm not convinced they'll give him a good screenplay. Okay, Bob Iger says that Disney is going to lean more into sequels and franchises, and that it is, quote, actually a smart thing.
On that note, they announced Moana, the sequel, is going to be released in November, Thanksgiving. The property that was a show. Was a series for Disney Plus. It's going to be adapted into a movie. It's going to be released on Thanksgiving. Same day, on the exact same day as Wicked.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm actually really excited about that. I've never seen it.
I
love the soundtrack. I've never seen the play.
Another sequel. Zootopia is getting a sequel to be released in 2025. And one about an interesting idea for a sequel. Tim Allen has a suggestion that Toy Story 5, since they're gonna do it, would be about adult Andy and his kids.
Oh.
Which I think, if you're going to make more, at least get something that will, consistency, respect, legacy, all that.
Yeah, that was part of the strength of like the other. Well. To a little bit, but like that they were going through different phases with Andy.
Yeah, Andy grew up with some of us.
Yeah, I did. We grew up with Andy.
Disney is putting a stake $1.5 billion on Epic Games. If you know Epic Games, the giant of multiplayer games that's behind Fortnite. So they're gonna create a lot of content, Disney based, for the game, for the platform,
which could be fun. And that's really what we're at Fortnite for just some like really low brain effort fun. Okay, what's going on with Xbox? This is like a whole spiel here.
There's like some sources that telling us that Microsoft is preparing to port Starfield to the PS5, to the PlayStation platform. All the rumors indicate that Microsoft also is planning on bringing the forthcoming new Indiana Jones game, Doom Year Zero, Hi-Fi Rush, Sea of Thieves, and maybe even, who knows, Halo.
That would be huge.
Yeah.
Because it gets a little culty with the whole Halo Xbox thing.
Yeah, you want more audiences, right? So especially when the industry, the film industry, the game industry is losing so much audiences because of some of the crap they put out. If you are able to expand your audience, considering that you're gonna lose a lot because of the crap you're putting out, at least you lose some, gain some. It kind of balances the damage.
Yeah.
Still about games, I just finished the Spider-Man 2 video game for PlayStation 5. And the writing is bad. It's so bad. I'm not gonna spoil, because it does that for itself. I mean, there's a moment that Venom has wings. I was like, oh, Venom took Red Bull, and he's like, my daughter was watching as I was playing. It's like, oh, his wings look like pancakes with red dye. I was like, yeah, baby, you're right.
From the mouths of babes.
Yeah. Anyways, it's they pushing so hard for Miles to be the Spider-Man when Peter Parker is the Spider-Man, and it's his story, but Miles, like, they push Miles like so much, and MJ. But anyways, I'm not gonna spend more time on that.
Yeah.
If you wanna go play. But what they at the end, it looks like they're gonna basically erase Spider-Man, Peter Parker, which they doing with a lot of other characters.
Mm-hmm.
In comic books. It's like, if not changing them drastically, erasing to being replaced with a new generation for modern audiences, and pandering for audiences that even our audiences to the source material. But anyways,
yeah, that gets weird. All right, Deadpool co-creator Rob Liefeld is retiring.
is that how we say his name?
Or Liefeld?
I always said Liefeld, but
Yeah.
I know the name.
Liefeld?
I know the
Liefeld?
name since I was a kid in Brazil, so I said Liefeld.
Yeah, it could be Liefeld.
Liefeld. Okay.
Well, either way.
He's retiring from the character after 33 years.
Mm-hmm.
And it's gonna be something, I think, was released this summer, which is the year of Deadpool 3. So it's a good year to wrap up things.
Yeah.
Or even, I was like, I'm gonna retire before I see what the crap Disney does to my character. But anyways, Reynolds is still there, so that might be
I'm
hope.
not too worried about this one. J.K. Rowling is going to be an EP on Harry Potter TV series.
Yeah. Even though commotion among some social justice warriors that she shouldn't be involved because you're gonna lose me because she tainted Harry Potter, so don't she was erased from the special, from the union and stuff like that. But no, she's gonna be involved as her baby, and she's gonna take care of it as much as she can, because again, she's going against the studios, the executives, but she's gonna be part of the process.
Yep. Traders got renewed at for a third season over at Peacock.
Yeah, season 2 is going full steam ahead. It's fun.
I hope they get more like Survivor style players.
What do you mean?
Because I feel like there's different types of players. We have the Survivor style players who are like, okay, here's the game, here's the strategy, I'm here to play hard and win. And then we have the Desperate Housewives / Big Brother, who are there like with their fashion statements. All due respect.
But Big Brother's a full
all due respect.
But Big Brother's a full-on game, right? They playing to win money. I assume.
Sure, but I feel like their style of play is more like the Housewives, where they're like, this person reacted to my comment, and like, frankly, it's kind of boring to watch them. So I hope we get more survival style play.
Okay.
In the future, Alan Cumming is a treat. Though.
How about Survivor? Survivor just announced the castaways for the new season coming soon. So yeah, we're gonna watch that.
Yeah, that's a fun show. Warner Music had to lay off a bunch of people.
600 staffers until fall. As company exits digital media, including Uproxx.
So. Sorry, guys. That's a bummer. Angel Studios has got a new movie, how does this work? They acquired a movie that is executive produced by Letitia Wright?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's called Possum Trot.
Yeah. So I guess they're staying big in the... I don't know what I'm trying to say. Angel Studios is doing great, is what we're saying.
Universal is giving Jurassic Park 4 at 2025.
Jurassic World 4.
Sorry. It's not park anymore.
No.
It's a world. In 2025.
My prediction is that somebody makes a very stupid decision regarding dinosaurs, and a bunch of people are going to have to deal with the consequences of it. That's not my prediction for the plot.
I don't know. It's as long as a mystery. You don't know. Maybe someone's gonna get really sick and get creative, because when they're healthy, they're not.
Okay, Oscars have added a new category.
That's a very interesting one. It's a casting category for casting directors, best casting. It's very interesting.
Yeah, that's actually nice to see.
2026 will be the first.
Okay, Netflix scrapped a full-on movie starring Halle Berry.
The movie was done.
Mm-hmm.
It's fully filmed. It's called sci-fi. It's a sci-fi called The Mothership.
Mm-hmm.
Not gonna see the light of day.
Yeah.
Most likely.
Nicolas Cage says he still wants to be part of a Star Trek movie, and I say yes, please.
Who doesn't?
Yeah.
And who doesn't want to see him on Star Trek, right? He is one of his dreams. He wanted to be, what was it, Superman?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I can't remember the other ones.
And he did get to voice Superman in Teen Titans Go to the Movies.
Yeah, and they sort of used him without his permission, I guess, on the Flash.
Mm-hmm.
But Superman Dracula.
Yes.
And I guess the Star Trek is part of his list.
Yeah, so let's make that dream come true. That would be great. James Cameron has plans for Avatar 6 and 7.
Yeah, there's rumors about 8 too. But he said he wouldn't
gosh.
direct. But at this point, who cares? He's like,
not me.
There's no way it's going to be much better than the crap he does. But some people love it.
I don't get it. Super Bowl Sunday is coming up quickly. President Biden has chosen to skip the traditional pre-Super Bowl interview.
Yeah.
Which is a good call, since a whole bunch of lawyers said, we can't prosecute this guy for anything because he's not mentally there enough.
He's not.
So.
And he was just arguing. There was a discussion with some reporters arguing about that. He got pissed, and he started talking, and he started saying things, and like confirming what everybody thinks, confirming the verdict. Everything he was saying, it was completely wrong. So.
Seriously, all I want for him is an ice cream cone and a rocking chair in Delaware.
Away from the White House. But anyways, also about the Super Bowl, we might see a Deadpool 3 trailer. So,
that would be fun.
It'll be fun.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
Apparently, the ad time during the Super Bowl is running about $7 million for 30 seconds.
Wow.
And that doesn't even go into your production cost. That's just to buy the time slot.
Just to buy that small window.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Of course, we have the Chiefs and the 49ers.
Yes.
Okay. One of Hogle Zoo's lions, his name is Vulcan, he picked the Chiefs to win.
Well,
so
I'm surprised he didn't pick the Detroit Lions. I guess the Lions didn't
that
make
wasn't
it.
an option. I see what you did there.
Anyways, it's Super Bowl is this Sunday. You're gonna watch. There's some interesting stuff around it. There's a commercial. Jason Momoa singing a full voice with Zach Braff and Donald Faison for T-Mobile. There's
let's not forget Schwarzenegger's 60 seconds
movie
film Agent State Farm
for State Farm with Jake. It was his long
That's
life
right.
to active
That's right.
Jake.
Yes.
There's a Friends commercial. There's a clip on the internet like Ross David Schwimmer sees Jennifer Aniston walking by, and it's like he's about to hug her, and it's like, oh sorry, and it's like, what? It's me. It's like, oh I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was like, we worked together for 10 years. It's like, you think I wouldn't recognize you if I would work with you for 10 years? So there's that, and I'm pretty sure there's some other funny stuff. There's also some creativity that they use there.
Yep, some comedy, some hits, some misses, some
at
nostalgia.
Least once a year you see some, this guy's smart on media. Anyways, that's it for this week. Talking about bad decisions, next week we're going to see Madame Web.
Let's hope we're wrong. Let's root for being wrong about this movie.
Yes, the movie might suck, but you know how some MCU fans react to the post-credit scene, right? It might be awesome. Anyways,
low expectations.
Also, we're gonna see other things to talk about. We're gonna keep watching Masters of Air. There is beautiful.
So
it's
good.
Spectacular. It's so, oh gosh, it's like to there's it's almost to watch on your knees, you know, like respect for that. It's really well done.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, some great stories, so real stories of men that fought on World War II. And you're gonna see other things too. But I guess that's it. See you next week then. May the force be with you.
Live long and prosper.
Bye.
Bye.